suddenly like there was a recognition that the time was over, and that their way of being could no longer help them with this, and that another way of being was being invited from them. And when they yielded to it, it would become transformative. And it just means that actually when you change time levels, that something can transform incredibly quickly. I mean, I always think that that's the secret of change, that there are huge gestations and fermentations going on in us that we're not even aware of. And then sometimes when we come to a threshold, crossing over which we need to become different, that we'll be able to be different because secret work has been done in us of which we've had no inkling.
And where did that work come from? Who directed that work? What is that?
My suspicion would be, I can't say who directed that work, but my suspicion is that the soul choreographs one's biography and one's destiny. I'll put it this way to you. Like in Ireland, there's an indirectness. Like I think it was Freud or Jung said the Irish were unpsychoanalyzable. Because there's all this, indirectness. It also comes from our colonial background, because like you wouldn't say too much because you could be cut out. And if you say to somebody, how are you? They'd say, oh, not too bad. Here, that a person believes that if they tell you their story, that that's who they are. And sometimes these stories are constructed of the most banal, second-hand psychological and spiritual cliche. And you look at a beautiful, interesting face telling a story that you know doesn't hold a candle to the life that's secretly in there. So what I think happens here a bit is that there's a reduction of identity to biography. And they're not the same thing. I think biography unfolds identity and makes it visible and puts the mirror of it out there. But I think identity is a more complex thing. And what I love in this regard is my old friend, Meister Eckhart, the 14th century mystic.
Right, German mystic.
German mystic. And one day I read in him, and he said, there's a place in the soul that neither time nor space nor no created thing can touch. And I really thought that was amazing. And if you cash it out, what it means is that that your identity is not equivalent to your biography, and that there is a place in you where you have never been wounded, where there is still a sureness in you, where there's a seamlessness in you, and where there is a confidence and tranquility in you. And I think the intention of prayer and spirituality and love is now and again to visit that inner kind of sanctuary.